So my name is Jeff Lipkin. I'm with Keller Williams Legacy. Been at real estate for about 5 years. We sold, me and my partner, just two of us, sold $19 million last year. Not a bad run. And we're looking to really crush that. Right now we've got our funnel full, and we're really looking to hit some big numbers this year. But I guess the reason I wanted to do that, started as a new agent, everything was like a mystery to me, and nobody really sat down and said, no, this is where we can help you. And what really frosted my cookies, if you will, is I didn't understand that lenders and home warranty people and title company could get involved with your business and help you move forward. So it was like such a disadvantage. These people that have made it have all this help, and these new people don't. And I felt like it was really unfair. And so, you know, for all the new agents out there, newer agents out there, that's kind of why I put these people together, to kind of share with you how you can get started and how you can get, you know, kick-started and moving a lot quicker with help. You know, it takes a village, and that's why I put together a village, because here we are. So that being said, just wanted to go around the room, introduce yourselves and who you're with and how long you've been at it. So why don't we start with you?
So yeah, Maureen Fleming. I grew up in New Jersey at a beach town. I worked in college textbook publishing in New York for a long time. Got married, moved to Baltimore about 27 years ago. I had a couple of kids, switched out of textbook publishing into warranties. One of my friends knew one of the managers at warranty, and that's kind of how I fell into the real estate stuff. So I've been in warranty for about 6 years, and I started with Guard about a year ago. And Guard does things a little different. We let you use your own contractor.
We'll get into that. What do you think?
So John Wall, primary residential mortgage. I've been in the business 16 years. Like you, I'm from East Coast or New York. So up that area, born and raised in Brooklyn, moved out to Westchester, went to school at Towson University, developed the mortgage business 16 years later, running a branch of primary residential mortgage, which, you know, we like to say we live here, we lend here. We're a national company. We're in every state but New York. We do about $13 billion in business as a company. The division that we're part of does about $1.5 billion in business, over 4,000 units, and we are predominantly purchase-based. We work with a lot of agents around here. So I'm a branch manager with the company, and we've got 7 loan officers that are direct reports to me, Dan being one of them. So we appreciate the opportunity.
A quick question. Are you a Yankees fan?
I'm not a Yankees fan.
You can stay.
My grandmother was.
You can stay.
fan.
Grandmother's not invited, but you go.
Yeah.
All right, so my name is Dan Stefano, also with Primary Residential Mortgage. Been with the company a little less than a year. A little less than a year, a couple months. And, completely new to the business. I worked in Delaware, moved down a couple months ago, and I came from the bar restaurant industry and fell into this somehow. So.
Dan is a hustler and works every Saturday and Sunday at open houses with agents. If you need somebody to stand in there, talk about mortgage, talk about anything, Dan and 2 other guys on our team are always willing to do that.
Patrick Swope with Direct Mortgage Loans. I have been in the business about 5 years now. I was in Richmond, Virginia before moving up here and joining the Direct Mortgage Loans team. My background was in education and in coaching, and then after not getting a raise for 5 years, it was let's figure out what else might be out there. And I've transitioned into this to be a coach and a mentor and be that educational side for borrowers, realtors, help them build their business and grow together. So being in the market center and helping those folks out understand what their options are, educate them to make the best decision is, you know, my daily conversation. So we'll obviously go into that a little bit more when we do the roundtable. So Patrick Swope, Direct Mortgage Loans.
Jeff Lipkin, Direct Mortgage, run a branch of the ML out in Bel Air. Our corporate office is right up the street here in Hunt Valley. Everything we do is local, all the processing, underwriting, lending, funding, servicing. Everything gets done right in Hunt Valley. We're in the branch, so everything we do is local. We all grew up around here. A lot of friends, family are here, and really make sure that we're catering our products and programs to the area. I got into the business in 2005, so about 16 years. Started as a refi guy, and over the years just transitioned into making purchases. DNL is set up now to service the agents and our pro partners in there and the purchase market in the community. What else is there? I've been involved with 3 Keller Williams offices personally for the last 6 or 7 years. I'm pretty Kellerized. We started as an in-house loan officer in 2 of them, bouncing back and forth, and sat through a lot of recruit select classes and one thing masterminds. And there probably isn't a whole lot of Keller Williams related stuff that I couldn't attend a class and help teach. I know we're now KPAs and a whole different thing, but sort of grew the branch out of the Keller Williams model for the education here. So I'm super appreciative of it.
My name's Hunter Gase, part of primary as well. I'm loan officer assistant for John Wald over here. He's been a great attest to my success so far. He brought me on the business about a little less than a year ago, much like Dan. And I don't know, we're young hustlers, and we'd love to help you out in every way we can. And we'd love to know if you have any open houses that we could attend as well.
Ed Chambers. I grew up in the Baltimore area. I went to school in Colorado. Worked in the primary residential mortgage as well. About a year before that, I was in commercial real estate, selling multifamily. Been kind of intertwined to the real estate business for the last 4 years. Mortgage is the best place for me. Maybe we can help. Happy to help.
Story. I held my real estate license for 6 years. These were seeing where we're from, so lived in Italy for 10 years, so not afraid of moving around. I started out with Long Foster, then came to KW when I joined CR Maryland team, and since 2020 I've been
And so if anyone only speaks
also, I
Italian,
speak
you're
Italian, I speak Spanish,
you're their girl.
some English. Mostly English, yeah.
That's a difficult language.
Well, I'd like to dive right into some of the ways that my lenders have helped me succeed. And I guess the first thing I want to focus on is, in order for me, the way I met with such success was having a true partnership. So it wasn't me like willy-nilly kicking a lender here and there, and just like, I have 2 or 3 lenders I use. And I ask them for help, and they give it to me because they understand that I have a partnership with them, and it is a 2-way street. So if I'm throwing it all over the place, I don't have any leverage. It's not a fair partnership. So, you know, some of my lenders do help me with projects, and I'm going to kind of roll through some of these. Like open houses, huge. They give me flyers. They'll come. They'll talk to my prospective clients. I have a sign-in sheet, and on this sign-in sheet, it has, "Are you pre-approved?" And guess what? When they say no, if they say no, I frankly know they don't probably have a realtor. But these go to my lenders. I send these to my lenders. They're calling. They're helping me bring in prospective business. I've noticed with my open houses that half the people are lying, and they actually say they have a realtor and they don't, because they don't want me to pester them, right? So now I have a whole new way of getting in touch with them and coming from contribution, because obviously they need information about getting money for a house, right? So they may be more inclined to take their call than mine, right? Huge, right? Social media. I've gotten a lot of help from different vendors with social media. I'm over 50, so obviously I need a lot of help. Clients gifts, there's a pie event that lenders have been, really helpful with, helping incur some of the costs of that as well. But really, there's two ways I really use my vendor, and I want to open this up and maybe point to some people, but my lenders keep me posted on the current market, where we're at, where we're going. And then they also help with my clients that maybe they've lost a little interest. Maybe their brother-in-law said, hey, you shouldn't use that guy. You should use my best friend. So really using particularly lenders to lock in as a resource for your prospective clients has been huge for me. So why don't we talk about maybe, why don't we jump in? Why don't we talk about some of the things that you guys do, two parts out there, to help, newer agents. Well, why don't we start with that, to help newer agents? So take it away, Jeff. What are some ideas you have to help newer agents?
Is this to get a lead in the door, or once the lead is there, once the referral is there? Like,
Let's go with lead in door, because I think a lot of newer agents, that's where they're at, right? They're trying to get the lead in the door.
sure. So it could be anything from setting up call blitzes, helping them set up their database, educating them on the programs in the market out there, providing marketing materials that they can push out. Very oftentimes we can get somebody committed to it. We'll help somebody just host their coming out event where they can reach out to 20 to 40 of their sphere and just host a inexpensive get together happy hour, just an excuse for them to call and announce to their friends and family that they're doing real estate. I find that seems to be a thing people are scared to do, is just to let everybody know that they're doing it and just to provide a little bit of value and an excuse for them to call. I think there's always an excuse to call. It's always an excuse to reach out. And, for a couple $100 on each side, you get them to host their first client event really, really early, hopefully create an experience that they want to continue to have, because we're all about building a business by referral. And to the extent that we can help the agents that we work with head off in that track, I think it's the most solid way to build it. So
Yeah, I love that. When I meet a buyer, when I do an open house, when I do a listing appointment, I take the subdivision of that neighborhood and I know everything about it. Hey, guess what? This is how long it took to sell the house, average in this neighborhood. Here's the average over asking. Here's days on market. I come from knowledge, and that's what gets me buyers and sellers. They go, wow, this guy knows his stuff, right? And so why don't you guys talk a little bit about, how you help new clients, feel secure about your information and the information you provide to kind of bring them into a partnership.
Yeah, so I mean, it's all just knowing your product, and knowledge is the kind of key behind sales. So you don't sound confident with your product, they're not going to trust you. So knowing our issue, knowing the products, and being able to fit each different client into a different scenario is probably our key.
Yeah, so it's funny, Patrick, why don't you expand on that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, the realtors are new. You're reaching out initially to a lot of your friends and family or somebody that needs to buy or sell. So it's leverage that introduction. I'm like, first thing I do is, hey, here's my cell phone number, so that you can reach out to me nights and weekends and kind of stand out that way. Two, make that introduction so it lessens the uncomfortableness for the buyer. So shoot a group text, so the communication's there between the realtors and us, and there's no surprises or anything, and shoot a group email. And then what I can start doing is conversing with the client, talking about their needs, really do a consult, so I'm not throwing like product and loan and numbers. It's learn where their needs are.
Yeah.
Find out what they're nervous about or don't like, or maybe they had a bad experience in the past. And now I've got this full, where are we now and how do we need to get you into that house? And some people are ready this month, some people are ready in 6 months. So how do I educate them? How do I put them in my database to follow up with them? And just be that partner in the teamwork aspect of it all,
Yeah,
and make it an experience, not a transaction.
I love that, because, so for me, right, I'm trying to come from contribution when I first meet someone, right? It's always easier to give than to take, right? So by putting them with the right mortgage company that's gonna coach them instead of sell them, you know, it makes me look good, right? They're like, wow, this guy's helping me, and that's huge. Then can you touch a little more on coaching, because there's a difference of opinion here with me and some realtors, a lot of realtors, right? So a lot of people won't go out with a client or prospective client that's not pre-approved. And I will. And obviously, I make sure that it's a real possibility through discussion, but I'll go out with them one time because I want to face to face, I want to build a rapport, and I want to break down some of that, you know, concern about, you know, thinking that I'm going to sell them a house, which you can't sell someone a house. But I want to break that down, and I know meeting face to face does that. So I do that one time, and I tell them I'm going to do this once, because I want to get to know and want to be helpful. But from there, often they're not ready to buy. They take a year away, right? So can you talk to some points about coaching someone to get them ready to buy?
Absolutely. So, like you said, for the people who aren't ready to buy now, who haven't already spoke to a lender, who aren't already pre-qualified, they may have these ideas of, oh, I have this much saved. Like, they don't know the whole process. They think I have $10,000 to put down. That's all that. They think it's a Credit Karma and other things. Their credit score is here and there, but in reality, it's not. And until they actually speak to a lender, they're not actually going to know what that is and how some of those things work. So they're not going to know that, you know, the credit reporting agencies really only receive information from creditors once a month, not multiple times a month like Credit Karma does. So those aren't actual real numbers. And that each agency kind of runs their tapes at different times of the month. So even if they all got the same information from the same people, the scores probably still wouldn't even line up. So I think just educating them on what is going to happen, what the whole process is paramount. Because without education, they're just going to kind of thumb through and not really know what they're doing. And to build that better relationship with clients and real estate partners and everyone, again, you just look like you know what you're doing when everyone's on the same page and you can educate. Here's why this is. Here's what this means. So the next time that they go to buy a house, they call you. They already have an idea. They trust you. You're already in their pocket.
And I'm sure you said, do not buy a car 2 weeks before that.
Absolutely.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Would you mind talking a little bit about, and I'm going to put you on the spot. Sorry. Would you mind talking a little bit about the difference between a national program or a national bank versus a local lender? Because I'm going to say this, multiple offer situation, I get, can I say it, Rocket Mortgage, and I'm like, the odds of this going through are a lot slimmer than if I have a local lender. Can you talk to that a little bit?
My first conversation that I have with my buyers is either you need to have a relationship with your lender, or I can provide you some lenders that I have a relationship with, because one of us needs to be able to jump on the phone and get a hold of somebody if anything were to happen. I've sat at closing settlement, and then things just fall apart, and if you're calling a 1-800 number and trying to get a hold of somebody, that's not what you want to happen. And then I kind of looked over at them and said, oh, so I can't do anything to help you right now.
Yep.
If it was somebody that I use, I pick up my phone, I have them on there, and we can resolve
like that language. I'm gonna steal that language piece. You either need to have a relationship
Right.
with your lender,
So
or
I don't want them to feel like
let's
I'm
talk
trying
to
to push
somebody that
something.
I have a relationship
Right.
with. And then you're not really forcing
Right,
this, that, or the other.
Right.
You are just saying, hey, we want to be in business with somebody that we have a relationship with and we can trust. Stolen.
It's more than being a number, right? And, you know, the flip side of that is, I can't tell you how many times we don't get information from a lender, you know, a national bank. We're just not getting the information. We're moving forward as though everything's fine. Whereas, you know, someone that you're partnered up with, you know, they're gonna help you get these deals through.
Right.
And, you know, being ahead of the game is the only way to solve the problems. When you're behind the 8 ball, that's when deals go south. I feel like. I'm curious what you guys think about the market. And I know it's kind of a interesting topic, because if we all had a crystal ball, probably wouldn't be sitting here, right? But, you know, I feel like for me, I'm projecting the market to start swinging from seller to buyer, or at least in that direction, probably by midsummer. That's what I'm throwing out there, so you guys can all call me and tell me what an idiot I am. But it's definitely going to swing. Interest rates are moving. Who wants to talk a little bit about the effect of interest rates, not only on the buyer, but the seller? You know, what that can kind of, where that puts you in the buying and selling process, and how it can affect the home that you buy or sell?
Can I jump in 1 second?
Yeah,
Just do
that'd be great.
education so for me, for partnership with a lot of the new agents and the brokerages, is I've got two things. One is that I come in on either the seller, it's going up on the listing and we cover the property, right, for the warranty, and we cover it during the listing period. And then the other is that we cover it during the buyer's part for the year, right, the year that they're in. And so I support the real estate agents in that process part of it, but then I also come into it with the education into the sales meetings, like, you know, my background is more education, so I come into the education part to make sure that the agents, and we're contributing, so I usually contribute to things like bold and that kind of stuff, right? I like to be part of, you know, their learning, their progression, and how to make them better agents. And then I also come into it with the, when something breaks down in the actual home, I come in and I actually meet your actual homeowners, right? I meet your buyers, and I meet your sellers when they've got something going wrong, and you can turn it around and do stuff like that. So that's how warranty actually contributes to the brokerage and to the agent.
Right, and it builds a relationship and obviously makes you, you know, it's a referral business, right? So at the end of the transaction, if the seller or buyer says, they work for me, they didn't work for them, you know, and wow, they did a great job and they protected me.
Right.
You know, that's when you're gonna get referrals, and that's what we're all after. That's, you know, it's heavy lifting if you're not getting referrals. You've gotta have some people calling you. It can't just be you calling people. It'll burn you out.
We're a direct, like, why it's important to have good vendors. I mean, we are a direct reflection of you. You're running your business, we're running our business, but we're running it parallel with one another. And if you refer me, or you refer a loan officer, and that loan officer rubs that borrower the wrong way, then you lost credibility with that client. So it is very important to partner with somebody that you have a similar kind of relationship with and vibe with, because, you know, we're a direct reflection of you. And I mean, to your point, I mean, I'm on 24/7. I mean, it's insanity, you know, just like you guys are on 24/7. We are available, and all those other companies, unfortunately, if you, as a new agent, if you're just saying, hey, go get pre-approved, the younger generation is just pounded into them. Click button, get mortgage, click button, get mortgage. And it lowers our value as a loan officer, because we're like their financial advisors. We're going to set them up. We're going to educate. And I've heard this term say from everyone that's licensed in this room, we're going to educate that borrower in products, programs. And maybe it means put less money down and keep more money in your bank, or put more money down, keep less money in the mortgage. But at the end of the day, we're partners, and I think that's the whole purpose of Jeff getting us all in this room, is build your team. Because once you have your team built, we're gonna get you to closing, and it's gonna be a fun experience. You know, you don't want the experience where you're sitting at the table, and you're like, I told you so, I told you so, you know? So we will find, you know, we will build together, and we will, you know, help you guys get there. Back to talk about like what we can help with. DML has an awesome marketing team, right, run by Billy. Primary Residential has an awesome marketing team. Rocket Mortgage does not, right? We have boots on the ground. We're here to help develop a plan that's going to be specific to you. But you know, that's just kind of what we offer as a local lender, and you've had experiences.
No, that's exactly what I missed out on as a new agent. And, you know, what is it? Almost 90% of agents don't make it 3 years. Swinging the bat by yourself. I mean, it's, you know, it's hard to hold the bases, and that's what you gotta do. You know, again, I probably talk, God, then I talk to my lenders every day. You know, hey, this guy's stuck. You know, what are we gonna do here? You think they can get closer? Well, let's talk to him. You want to talk to him? You want me to talk to him? You know, it's a true partnership with my lenders. I've gotten people through that. I was like, we're stuck. There's no way that it would have happened with a big bank or national mortgage company. It just wouldn't happen. Frankly, they won't pick up the phone to have that conversation.
They're not around Saturday night.
And they're
Well,
not.
that's also too, I mean, unfortunately, the consumers, back to your question earlier about rates and where we're gonna see it go. and how
Yeah,
it
I was going there.
But the consumer only thinks about rates when they're talking about a mortgage.
Yeah.
So Rocket Mortgage, for example, advertises rates are higher right now. So Rocket Mortgage advertises a rate of 3.5% right now on their website. But if you click the fine print, it's with 2.5 points. The consumer doesn't understand points or anything like that. You know, and a point is a percent of the loan amount that you pay. But as a new agent, you have to be into your client. It's not about rate. These guys are going to structure a loan that's going to fit your needs the best. Because rate is like a stock, right? If I want to buy Apple stock at $100 a share, I can't do it because it's selling at $1,000 a share. You're getting the rate that is dictated on that day. And due to Dodd-Frank, we all have the same interest rates, right? It's not like one bank has a cheaper rate than another bank. It's really just about getting comfortable. And rates are going up, and it's going to impact people, but it's not going to stop the market.
No, you know,
No, people still need houses.
I'm a bit confused by where the market's headed until we get some like real inventory
yeah,
to have an understanding of like, I don't know, it took several hundred applications in January and there's no houses to put them in. So like, I don't know, when stuff comes up, maybe we'll see a bounce or maybe we'll see it turn, but for the time being, they're still competing over handful of homes.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's just it's a hard.
650 offers on this house. Yeah.
But I'm seeing a shift there too. I mean,
Yeah.
right now, last year we were 60-40 seller buyer. Sorry, guys. We're probably,
That's your part.
you know, sorry about that. We're at least 70% of the offer right now. I mean, we're stacking listings right now. We're really,
That's great.
I'm shocked.
That's great to hear. Just
So we'll be
hires.
in for it. At least, you know, for us, we'll have some inventory. And I'm talking to other agents and they're starting to see a little bit of that as well. I kind of think some of the crazy buyers that were willing to, you know, give their firstborn for a house, have bought. So, you know, we'll see. I don't know. What do you guys?
I think
talk
that,
about
I think the inventory of that buyer is limited, and we probably mostly flew through it last year, but we all did really well before that maniac buyer existed. So I'm perfectly happy to have a buyer that wants to pay what a house is worth and
Yeah.
put a normal down payment and not waive appraisal contingencies. Like that was mayhem. I mean, literally had to gear up every Saturday morning and just tell the whole sales team, like, just assume everybody's gonna go look at a house Saturday morning and need an offer in before noon. So they plan to be preparing pre-approval letters every Saturday morning. Don't do anything else.
Yeah.
That like just to find out. Yeah, thank you.
Right, I mean, most people know now to list homes on a Thursday.
Right.
Grab all the offers over the weekend, review them on Monday. You know, I can't tell you how many times Sunday at 4 o'clock, I'm like, I gotta get this in, I got an hour, you know, like, only to have 14 offers in. I mean, I was at a point where I'd call and go, how many of my children are you looking for? You know, it just was crazy.
So Jeff, you do a lot of listings. What, can I ask you a question? I'm super curious about it. When you're looking at 15 different offers, let's say 5 of them are equal, what makes it stand out?
I wish my partner Chris Rabowski was here right now. So if we have an M&T, well, I don't know if I'm supposed to be naming names, but M&T, Bank of America, Rocket Mortgage, any of those, I mean, honestly, those get kicked to the side. Honestly. We know they're not gonna respond to us, they're not gonna give us the information, the updates that we need to move this stuff forward. And I can't tell you how many times we're sitting at the table and not able to close. I mean, they are downgraded. The only thing we got, we'll work with it. Of course, we advise, it's not up to us, right, as an agent, to pick who's gonna get the house. It's up to the owner, right? But we tell them what we think. That's our job, right? Our job is to advise based on our experience, and that's been our experience. Local lenders. So, on that note, when I first meet a buyer at an open house or through a friend or at the grocery store, because I got big ears and a big mouth. So, I'll kind of saunter over and go, hey, I hear you're buying. Congratulations. And I can tell you stories about how much success I've had by just interjecting, right? But, how do you let a prospective buyer know who to use? And so to that, I would say, look, I don't just say, you got to use this lender. That's irresponsible of me. It's frankly, it's putting my feet to the fire a little bit, right? I give them 2 or 3 choices. And I recommend that you call all these people, like, make sure that you are a fit, make sure that you get along with them and that you feel comfortable that these people are working on your behalf, right? But I also advise against big banks and national lenders.
Can I ask a question
Yeah.
there? When you give the 2 or 3 out and you recommend them all, do all of your lenders play nice in the sandbox? Does one bow out for another? Like, because you can actually ruin a borrower or a buyer's experience by having this back and forth where they just can't make a decision. They can't say no. They don't. We're just bidding each other down. Like, it doesn't serve anybody.
No.
And I've been in really good scenarios and also the ones where you just like, hey, let the borrower just be the borrower where he picked, and they always want to throw their hat back in the ring, and it just seems to ruin everything.
Well, I think most people call one.
Yeah.
I think they pick one, call one.
I gotcha.
But again, I think it's important that they get on. But for me, right, I also have, just as a client of yours will have a relationship with you, I'm also a client.
Yeah.
So, I've used lenders that haven't gotten back to me. Guess what? I don't use them anymore. Right. So, I highly recommend as a new agent to sit down with some lenders. Frankly, just as I have data about an area so that I'm the smartest guy on the block when I'm meeting buyers or sellers, knowing how the industry works is a whole other way to be an expert, right? Understanding the mortgage process, being able to speak to that, particularly the first-time home buyers, that's what they want. They want an agent that's educated. Sit down with some lenders, build a relationship, make sure it's a good fit, but partner up. It's a 2-way street. Go ahead.
I was just gonna add, for everybody that's kind of listening, if you're getting ready to sit down with somebody that's gonna buy or sell or send an open house, let us know that you're doing those things so I can put it on my calendar and literally get on the speaker and just have a quick conference call. Hey, you know what? Let's see if one of my preferred lenders is available. I have a relationship with them. I'm gonna steal yours every time now. let's see if he's available. Make the introduction. All right, cool. Why don't we set up a one-on-one where we can meet together, get on a Zoom, meet in person, whatever that might be, and talk into detail more about the specifics that are important to you, and we'll follow back up. Does that sound great? Awesome. How does tomorrow sound at 2 o'clock or 6 p.m. or whatever it might be? But then we're chatting with them on a weekend. I'm busy out on the soccer field or whatever it might be with my kids, but I can at least, I know you're having that meeting. It's on my radar, and I'll answer the phone.
One of the things that one-on-one sales for me, and I've been a salesman for a long time, is I always love to leave with homework. It doesn't matter the scenario. I always want to leave with homework. So I'm actually working for you, and I don't even have a buyer agreement, right? But I got homework. So I'm coming for contribution. I'm literally working for you, right? So by suggesting a specific mortgage guy, knowing a little bit about their situation, letting the mortgage guy know in advance, you know, you're actually working for someone before they even chose an agent, right? And so who are they going to choose? They're going to be like, oh, he's already got effort in, and wow, he's been helpful, right? So that's, to me, one-on-one sales. I'm gonna, yeah, please.
For new agents that are trying to pair up with a lender, right? Hopefully one of us.
Yeah.
But don't just give the client the phone number, right? Like, I can't tell you how many new agents have been like, oh my God, well, I just gave your name to 5 people. Well, guess what? I've heard from 0 of them. Because if you put it in their shoes, what's gonna happen is people are scared and they're timid. They're gonna take the path of least resistance, and that's click a button on an online national lender site. But if you send them an email and say, hey, Dan, you know, it's a pleasure meeting you this weekend. As I mentioned, this is, you know, my preferred lender that I recommend. Feel free to reach out to him. He's CC'd on this email, or she's CC'd on this email. You know, if you need another choice, I'm happy to pair you up with somebody else, right? So you just said, you're not saying you have to use this person, but you're putting it in our shoes. And what then I do is I follow up, or my team follows up, and we try and get in touch with them. And then you know that, hey, that person's been passed off. Because I think if you give it, I mean, as a successful real estate agent, I mean,
Love that.
yeah.
And I love that after that, then I'm able to follow up.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did that go with that lender? Did you
Yeah.
guys connect good? Do you feel comfortable? Do you want somebody else?
Well, and it also shows the prospective buyer, you know, that you have followed them. You know, it's starting to show your professionalism.
We're also like, they've got systems in place. He's been around a while. Built his team certainly, us the same way. We maintain a very detailed and complete database that if there's a solid handoff, they hit our database and they don't go away. So we just begin working at whatever the pace is to get them the first time. We're also talented for people that are nervous about getting started at getting to application, getting to credit report. A lot of times the credit is the scariest thing. People don't know once you get there, one, they're giving over personal information. And then beyond that, it's what are they going to find that I don't know about, or what that I know is there that they could disqualify. I mean, they start disqualifying themselves. But if we can get to that conversation, there's so many times that people that think they're a year out are out looking at properties the next weekend.
Yeah.
But it never happens unless we can actually get that conversation. And if they're not ready, then they get tagged in the database for follow-up, and we coach them until they're ready. And it's kind of like the non-flashy thing that's going on all the time. It's just the repetitive connecting with people and trying to get them to the next place. But it ends up being referrals of us back to the agent that has no memory of this referral they gave a year and a half ago, but they hit us and they never went away. And we coached them and we stayed in touch with them, and they got their emails and they got calls from, you know, from our client custody and all that. And then we go, hey, by the way, like, they're ready. Here you go.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. That'll never happen with Quicken.
Oh, guilty. I'm, you know, I'll call a lender, I'll go, can we review? You know, can we review? Geez, I think I put the wrong email down, like, you know, it really is a partnership. But then, you know, here's a flyer I have. I'll put my thumb over the. But so, I mean, you know, I have some buyers that are just kind of sitting on the log, you know, I think they're interested, they're engaging, but they're not going out. They're stuck a little bit. So I'm like, how am I gonna move forward? You know, what's the plan? Hey, Mr. Lender, you know, what do you think? Like, they're stuck, I'm a little concerned, I know that they're pre-approved. Well, geez, Jeff, interest rates might be going up and, you know, they're gonna end up paying more. Let me send you a flyer, the difference between, you know, 3.25 and 4.25, how much more they're gonna pay for a house, right? Like, oh, wow. Or how much less a house they can buy based on that. Or as a seller who's not getting his house ready, how many fewer opportunities they'll have? I.e. less multiple offers, right? Like, you know, so, you know, I'm a planner and I try to figure out like how to make sure I've got everybody covered and, you know, I have help with that with my partners. And also I want to talk a little bit about home warranty real quick. So as far as like a home warranty, you know, my advice typically, and I'm not saying I'm right, but my advice is to a seller, well, let's not offer a home warranty because for me, if I see a home warranty sign, rider on a sign, I'm like, what's wrong with the house, right? Maybe I'm wrong. But also like, let's keep that in our back pocket. You know, if you've got some older appliances and they get through the home inspection, there's a concern there, you know, we can throw that out as a sweep, right?
Sure.
Can you talk about those 2 points?
So yeah, so typically I do ask them to put warranties on. I ask all agents to put warranties on at the beginning when it goes up on the MLS.
Why?
Because
Ah, I knew this.
we actually cover the agent and we also cover the brokerage, right? So we're covering the agent for if something happens to the property. We're covering the homeowner, the seller, if something happens to the property, right? Things break. You know, you've got an older air conditioning system, all of a sudden it's summer and it's running at full speed because you've got people coming in all weekend. You've got it running, you know, at 62 degrees and it's running all weekend. You know, that's when you've got stress on the system and it's gonna, you know, it can break at that point. So you want to already have a warranty on it. So the big thing with insurance, right? Warranties or insurance, you need to have it on before something breaks, right? You have to put it on when it's properly working, and then we cover it for when it breaks for a normal wear and tear. So if it's running the weekend and you've got an open house, you've got somebody to call and say, hey, my air conditioner's not working, right? So then we come out and we get it fixed. So that's the biggest reason to put it on for the seller side. So when listings were, 5 and 6 months long, it was a much bigger deal to have it on the listing period, right? Because no seller wants to put more money into their house, right? They just want to have it fixed and then have it go. So that's why it's on the listing side. Plus we protect. So we protect the homeowners if they use the board forms, right? If they use the home inspection, if you do a seller disclosure, and if you put a warranty on, your insurance is going to give you a lower rate for your deductible if anything happens and you wind up getting sued. So you need to have those 4 things, warranties, one of those. So then on the buyer side, we're also protecting the brokerage. And then on the buyer side, things break. You have a house that you've got, a little couple in, and they're using, 1 shower, 2 showers a day, and then all of a sudden you put 5, a family of 5 in the house, and all of a sudden all of the systems are going to be more stressed, right? You're cooking dinner every night. The refrigerator, of course, during COVID was open 5,000 times a day, and refrigerators were breaking left and right, right? Water dispensers were breaking left and right. Ice makers, all of that kind of stuff was breaking constantly. Microwaves, that kind of stuff, right? The water heaters are running much more because you're now all of a sudden you're doing 5 showers. So for a warranty, we cover pretty much 2 broken appliances or systems in the first year. Right? That's what most warranty companies cover. So things are going to break. It's just, when you get the phone call after closing and they say, hey, there's something wrong. We're 2 weeks in and there's something wrong with our hot water heater, air conditioner, heat system, whatever it is, refrigerator. You want to be able to say, oh, remember we got you that warranty, give them a call. And then that way, we protected you. So you want to protect the sellers and you want to protect the buyers.
And you want to come from that perspective.
Right.
So your sweet spot then is
old appliances.
older appliances that are in good working order.
Good working. That's where you want to put a warranty on. So then the other thing is if you put a warranty on the seller side and you do have a problem, we pay, if it gets paid and there's a warranty on the property, we will pay up to $500 of your deductible or something. So we like to cover the seller's agent and the builder.
So let's talk about, I mean, I kind of threw some stuff out there, pie events, open houses. Let's talk about like coming from contribution towards, well, any agent, new or old, right? Like some of the things you guys have done in the past, or let's broach on that, like what's in it for them, right? What do you got? What do you got, Dan?
So it's funny, I actually just spoke with a new agent last night and kind of just coached them on even just some of those initial things, like social media is huge. Free marketing, it's easy, and it's a great way to just let everyone, you're already friends with, you already know what you're doing.
And you're not being repetitive.
You're not being
somebody else-
repetitive.
Yeah.
So otherwise, if you don't let them know, they think, oh, hey, you're still doing this, you're still working in a restaurant, you're still doing whatever. It's like, no, I haven't been doing that. It's just a way of, and also getting yourself all over that fear. Oh, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to like bombard my family and friends with like what I'm doing. It's like, well, that's a low hanging fruit. That's what you should be easy. People you're going to talk to anyway. Let them know and adjust.
That being said, like as a new agent, I think one of the challenges for me, and I'm sure others, is, you know, it's the biggest purchase of a lot of people's lives. Even if it's your brother, he's like, well, you've only been an agent for 6 months. Like, that makes me nervous, right? But when you have a team behind you, you know, that solidifies you and makes you, you know, especially, you know, when you're connecting them with somebody that's knowledgeable, kudos go to you, right? They don't necessarily go to them. You're the one that recommended them. So, I mean, that's what team building is about. And again, it's tough to get started. It's tough to get the ball rolling. And, you know, it's one example. Who else got something? You got to have something for them. You look like a storyteller.
No, I'm just thinking about what you just said and how, like, one of my key selling points is that I like for it to be like a one-stop shop. So you come to me and I have lenders that can refer to you. I have a warranty. I have inspectors, contractors, like things. I have a whole, list of things so that if you need something, I am a resource to you. And kind of going back to that coming from contribution, I am that connector just in general. Like if anybody thinks of anything, oh, Pam, orthodontist, like, and I like to just, collect things so that I am that.
Oh, that's awesome.
We actually do. I was just saying, you brought the pie event a couple of times. It's actually one of our favorite things, and being connected with several real estate offices, but we do it here as well. But especially for newer agents that either haven't had their first client event, or maybe they had their first one, didn't go great, it was just okay, didn't have a whole lot of energy. And since then, we've expanded it in different places, but we like to try to pull everyone together and host sort of like a joint client event. So we've done a pie event here for Legacy that we actually book high tops, and then we take care of the coordination of where the pie's coming from, negotiate the cost of the pies, make sure everybody's got their space, make sure everything shows up easy and on time. We prepare the email, the social media post, the letter that goes out, everything's done. We've got everybody the dates that it needs to go out. Here's the time to send the text to follow up. Here's the calls to make. And for somebody that might be nervous about having 5 or 6 people show up to their first client event, like if there's 20 other people that have 5 to 30 people and there's music and there's atmosphere and there's appetizers and drinks, like you had a huge win, and they don't know whose clients are who, and for them it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to give it a run for Mother's Day with the markets that are here too. We got high tops, and we're gonna have, I said, flower truck outside at high tops, and it's all being prepared right now. So I would encourage anybody that wants to host the first client event, connect with us and do it. The space available.
Yeah, and one of my nightmares, I wake up in sweats, is walking down the street, seeing an old buddy who I told several times I was a realtor, and he says, oh, I just bought a house. You know, and these pie events, these events, they really make you stand out. They're not gonna forget you when they get all excited about, oh my God, look at this house, should we put it on for it, right? You know, and that's important. Again, you know.
It's pretty wild how many people will come out for a $7 pie too.
Yeah,
It is.
but those pies are good. I gotta say. I did an event, call it an event. I did a Super Bowl pool. So I reached out, you know, 100 blocks. I did 2 of them with my lenders. You know, we split it's not a lot of money. I tell people not to quit their day job, you know, but it's $50, you know, 1 a quarter, whatever, a little less. But anyway, I've reached out to 200 people. They love it. Somebody's gonna win it, you know, then I can make another call, but I'm updating my command. So I'm like, hey, you got, you know, new address or a new email. And I get to chat, and guess what? I've already gotten a couple good leads from it.
Plus social media, you get to post all of that stuff on.
I
social
didn't,
media
and I'll
type
tell you
stuff.
why, because I wasn't able to hit everybody, and if I posted it, then somebody might be mad that I didn't include them. So I'm careful about that. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, you know, those events, or whether it's big or small, or you haven't done it before, or you're nervous about it, I mean, the whole point is just an excuse to call your folks, other than, hey, I'm in real estate now. Like, you're bringing something fun, something they can be a part of, community-based, family-oriented, whatever it might be. It's an excuse to call them and get them to be involved in something that's bigger than just you as an agent or me as a lender or home warranty, and have some fun while being involved in real estate.
Yeah, because if you're calling everybody and only talking real estate, they're not gonna take the call, right? Like, you gotta mix it up.
Yeah, and you gotta be authentic though.
Yeah.
I mean, because look, we, like DML, we also have a marketing team, and our marketing team does monthly Popeyes. Like this month, we did the Valentine's Day hearts, you know, we prepare it, you know, we have it all set. You literally come in, pick it up, and drop it off to your people. So we follow the Brian Buffini model, you know, which is the pie event too. But you know, we'll send out each month. Like this month, we're doing Mother's Day flowers or this or that, right? And our team prepares everything. For RESPA, you have to pay for it, right? But our team prepares everything. You literally pick it up and drop it off to your referral partners. But to your point, I mean, it's just a touch point. It's just being front and center, and it's not about always asking. It's giving, and at that point, once you start giving, you're going to start receiving the referrals, and that's really the whole gist of this. And you said a huge point, like it's amazing how many friends and family call me for like the most random things, right? Orthodontist, you just mentioned, like legitimately as a realtor, you need that Rolodex of everybody because you want that. You want, hey man, like I'm taking my wife out to dinner. What's a good restaurant? Oh, you should go to this restaurant. I know the owner there. I'll put a call in. I'll get you the table. You know, that's as a realtor is what you need to be, that go-to person.
Well, yeah, exactly. What were you gonna say?
No, I love the Popeyes. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
I think in person, we just lose that so much nowadays.
Yes.
I'm on the phone all the time. And I feel like people who I call, I'm like, the first thing I'm trying to do is let them know I'm a real person.
Right.
Because they're just expecting a robot or a script or something. I'm like, hey, this is Hunter Days. Hey, how are you doing? Like something personable so they can tell right away if I'm bored. So just being in person, those Popeyes are definitely my favorite. How often you get to go by and actually see the clients that work.
Yeah, it's kind of like walking into a used car dealership, right? Like, you get approached and they say, you know, how can I help you? And you go, oh, no, I'm just looking, right? It's that like push off. And I think these events make that go away, right? It makes it personal.
One of my favorites is the shred day, right? That one, just people come with all their financial documents and stuff. It's just a big service, right? You're really not getting anything out of that. It's just a complete contribution to the community thing. That, and then trick or treat, trunk or treats, those were really big, right? People and bringing their kids. And then I did a few that were a movie night, like we did the Great Pumpkin, and then we did some trunk or treat. The kids all showed up. Students, and we took stuff. And then for, for me, a lot of that was, put on social media, it's just sort of kind of thing. I've done a bunch of things also for like the brokerages, right? I brought in like, we did a picnic, right? At Legacy, we did a picnic. I brought in mission barbecue truck and we did a and stuff. And they were having an educational training. So we brought in, so, things that you can contribute to the market center.
We've all been through this, so like new agents, I've been this 16 years, Jeff's been this 16 years. I've helped, so the broker, Mark Simone, I started with Mark when he, we were both young in the business and we've grown on the same trajectory. But we sit down and have meetings and it's interesting. If you don't use us, you're losing out. And what I mean by using us is not just using us for your services, for your client services, but I work with a lot of agents. My marketing team works with 500 plus agents in this area. We know what works, it doesn't work. It's not recreating the wheel. It is, hey, this has worked for this person in this market. You have a similar market, you should try this. Okay. And I think that's what we're trying to get across here is, don't recreate the wheel, come to us. Let's talk about your business. You support us, we support you. That's really how this business works. So
one of my favorites is
Stealing and
Bold.
making your own.
Yeah. One of my favorites is Bold, right? Getting all the agents to go through training into the primary agents, right? When they go through Bold, they're much more successful, right? They're more likely to be doing business, right? They do 2 to 4 units during the 8 weeks throughout the Bold that they do, right? So I do a lot of supporting Bold on like all the different ones, and then I've also supported. Sometimes I give them the $400 to a different, and they would support an agent who didn't have money to do the Bold but wanted to.
Well,
So that kind of level of it. No, that's fine, but just that level of it, right? Supporting agents, doing their business, trying to make more agents more successful.
So I think we're winding down. Anybody with any last comments?
I appreciate you pulling us together.
No, it's,
Yeah.
again, I like to come to contribution. I learn more when I do this stuff than if I don't. But again, for me, a recap is they're going to educate you. Your resources will help educate you. They'll help move the ball forward. You have a team, like the heavy lifting I keep talking about. It's, again, almost 90% of you won't be here in 3 years, but the road has been paved for you. Like, use it, man. Use it. So, I guess what do we have coming up in a month?
Yeah, so we have the final installment in this roundtable series. It's going to be with the coaches. So talking about how to use coaching to build your business, creating accountability systems for you, figuring out how to meet those business goals that you have. So that's what's coming up. I can double check the date. Give me 1 second if you have anything else.
I do. I just want to say to that, you can get coaching. You can pay for it. It's $1,400 a month for top tier coaching, which is exactly what we have here at Keller Williams Legacy for free. I use it. I have 2 coaching sessions a month, and it has gotten me. I'm so far ahead of where I was last year, which was a great year. And I got to tell you, it's because the road's paved, and all I'm doing is just getting on the road. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.